Let me tell you a little bit about this 25-year-old woman. We'll call her Brenda right now. Haven't used her last name for her own protection. We are anticipating this moment, and if you walk with me, Poppy, I'll tell you a little bit about her case. She's from El Salvador here and has been waiting to hold her son in her arms, a 7-year-old little boy. She hadn't seen him for a month, and this is the first time, as we see together, that this 25-year-old woman is able to hold her child. Let's go ahead and listen in, Poppy.
Mira qué gordito te veo. ¿Qué pasó, mi amor? ¿Cómo estás?
Bien.
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 Ahí está hablando. A la par de la señora.
La
¿Qué
veo.
pasa? Ahí está tu tía Fátima, ¿ves? La de Centro Negro, ¿eh?
Y mira, me dieron un carro de compra.
Qué chivo, en serio. ¿Pero te sentís bien, mi amor? Sí. ¿Y por qué no estás requemadito? ¿Fuiste a la playa?
¿No?
No.
Es que nos acaban de comprar.
En serio. Tan lindo. ¿Fuiste a la escuela? ¿Te gustó? Sí. ¿Te quiere saludar? Es su tía Fátima. Y vas a ver a la Ashley cuando lo traigan. Por ahí anda la Ashley, tu tío Rodolfo, ahí viene. Allá viene la Ashlita, ya la viste. Mira, ahí viene la Ashley. Saludar. Mira, la Ashley, anda a saludarla.
So, Poppy, as we wait to see what comes next, let me tell you a little bit about Brenda, the woman in that light-colored T-shirt walking with her son now. They were separated on the 27th of May. She and her son had crossed the border illegally, according to what her legal representation has told us. And her attorneys believed that they were separated so that Brenda, who you see here, could face these criminal charges under President Trump's zero-tolerance policy, these charges for illegal entry. Her attorneys telling me that never happened, but they say the damage was done when this child was taken away from her mother. I can tell you that this is a moment that they have waited for a very long time, especially as Brenda has been separated from her son for a while now. They tell me that they were separated not long after that. After she was detained at the border, she was taken to Colorado and then eventually taken here to the Washington, D.C. area. As for her child, well, he ended up in Florida, one of the many children who have been taken care of here by the government, and her mother has been searching for weeks now to be able to reunite with her child. And here we are, Poppy. This is a moment that many of these immigration attorneys have told us does not happen enough. And so as we step back here for a little while and give Brenda some time with her son, it's just important to see these pictures here. These are these family reunifications that, again, many people say are just not happening fast enough.
Polo, it's remarkable to see. Let me ask you if you know anything about how this happened, because one of the big questions right now facing the administration is how are you going to reunite all of these families by the 30-day deadline that federal judge imposed this week? Do you have any details on why and how this family was reunited, where 2,000 more children wait to hopefully have the same fate?
Well, Poppy, I can tell you that her lawyers tell me that this was certainly a logistical nightmare that they were having to deal with, is that they were struggling to find out exactly where this child was. And this is why they work so hard to make this happen here, is to deal with the databases, work with the government. Information has been very hard to track down, obviously. And so her attorney's telling me that this is something that was weeks in the making, trying to find out exactly where their child, where Brenda's child was, and finally able to determine that they were in Florida and that this family reunification could actually happen. And sorry, Poppy, it's something that we definitely want to soak in here and to watch as we tried to speak to Mom here in a little bit, just talking about how everything has been for her.
Mm-hmm. And is that his sister, the little girl with the yellow bow?
That's what we're trying to find out. My understanding is Brenda only has one little boy, and this is him right here.
Okay.
And so she definitely has a support system here as they try to get their life back to normal here. Let me tell you what happens next for them. As you see them here together, mother and child, their attorneys will now work to consolidate their asylum cases. That way, they can stay together regardless of what happens, whether a deportation happens or their asylum claim goes through successfully. So that is what many attorneys have been working for, is for these children to stay with their parents so that they can navigate through the court process at least together instead of being states apart, which is what we saw in Brenda's case.
Paula Sandoval, again, for our viewers, this is happening live at Dulles Airport. This mother, Brenda, being reunited with her son, whom she was separated with back in May 26th when she crossed over the border from Mexico undocumented. She says she was seeking asylum, and now they will go through the judicial process of their asylum claims being heard, but they are at least together. Paula Sandoval, thank you for being there. We'll be right back.